When you don't concentrate on conversion rate, you're literally leaving money on the table. Okay. And the reason I know this is because I've been selling online since 2016, and I've been involved in different things, even in my own life, that involve conversion rate. One of the biggest things that really struck home to me, the importance of conversion rate, was I was involved with a local tourist site here in Sligo, and we would have about 1,000 visitors a day. And I discovered that if you play music and if you have like clear signage with a red background, just asking people for a donation or letting them know what it's going towards, the giving went way up, right? Like way up. Like we're talking, instead of maybe 20 a day, you might be getting 60, 70 a day with the same footfall, okay? And your website is no different. There can be small tweaks you can make that can really help improve your conversion rate. So probably the first thing I think of is, if we're talking about online listings, it's the title and bullet points, right? So on Amazon, for example, the hero image is probably one of the most important, okay? This is one of our latest products. It's the Grizzly Gear silicone grease. It's going well. It's a good product. Yesterday, it sold 10 units. And I picked those colors, right, for a reason. I picked them because they are bright, so they pop. But likewise, psychologically, red, yellow, very strong colors that attract like power and just, they like to fly to the light. Like people are just drawn to it. And I figured if people are drawn to the image, they are more likely to click on the product. And that has held true, right? Because all the competitor products are bland, they're boring, there's no colors in them at all. Whereas this, draws you in, right? So it stands out. Likewise, the bear, I think it's really, really cool. So people then click on the listing, and there's basically two ways to look at a listing or look at any landing page. There's above the fold, which is basically everything you can see the second you click and land on a listing. And then there's below the fold. Above the fold is where you should really concentrate on. Like on Amazon, below the fold, there's A+ content, which is like all that like brand information. It's nice. It's good to have something nice there. But if you would ask me what's the most important, I'd be saying above the fold. So the hero image and the secondary images, the title, the bullets, the reviews, and the price. Like they're the most important factors, right? Hero image by far, as I said, most important, followed by the title and the bullets, right? And obviously you need good reviews. Then you do need 2 or 3 additional images. I think after that, like any more, I don't know if it's making a huge difference. That, my friends, is where you should concentrate the bulk of your effort, right? So find something that pops, something that attracts people to click on the listing. And then once they click on the listing, they're more likely to convert, right? Because if they're not on the listing, they're not going to convert. Once they're on the listing, they're going to potentially convert if you do everything else right there, right? Now, on Shopify, there's an additional thing. Actually, on Amazon as well, like price comes into it after that. Like, so if the price is too high, you're always going to lose a certain percentage of customers that just aren't going to convert because the price has just gone that little bit too high. But sometimes it's worth having the higher price and losing some sales but making more profit. Other times it's worth having a lower price, making a little less profit per sale but gaining more sales. So just finding that balance, right? Off Amazon, we can play a little bit more with the offers. So I did a video on this recently, but there's 2 ways that I find work really well to drive additional sales. Number 1 is a discount. So that's where you just give a time limited money off, right? Generally, you can add a discount, definitely time limited money off. So we did, I think it was 15, 20 quid off for Easter weekend. That did really well for us. We made a lot of sales, right? That is one way. Now, I'm not really a fan of discounts because ultimately they're basically saying, look, I'm willing to let this go for less. Even though it's worth that, I'm willing to let it go for less. And I think as a brand, as sellers, like we should ultimately be optimizing for the higher price, because the more money you have, the more margins you have, the more you can invest in the product, the more you can drive quality and all that kind of stuff, right? And give a really good customer experience. Whereas if you're making no money or you're cutting your margins, what can you do? It's not the best long term. What I prefer is something that we are doing, which launched Apex, and which something that we're testing a lot now and building a lot around, and it's a try before you buy offer. We're doing this inside the Trojan selling method, so we've developed all this because that's what got Apex going. Before that, Apex was kind of struggling, not because there's anything wrong with the product, maybe our marketing of the product, maybe we expected more initially, I'm not really sure, but either way, this is what launched it, right? And the way it works is that we allow someone to grab our product, use it for 30 days, just cover the shipping and handling, and then at the end of 30 days, if they have not returned it, we automatically charge them the balance. And I prefer that over a discount because we're getting our full price. Likewise, the customer is getting the risk removed from them. And if you can delay your ask by 30 days or whatever it is, it's a win-win. Okay. Whereas, as I said, discounts, you're just losing, you're losing money. You're giving away money. Whereas with the trial, you're not. Like, based on maths, if you have a good trial success rate, if the product is quality, you'll come out far better on it in terms of revenue. Okay. And the beauty of it is that it takes away the urgency of a discount, because the discount is time limited. So it's all these sales at once. Whereas with the trial, you can spread that so it's the entire year. Like, it doesn't need to be limited. It's just all the time. But what it does is it gives someone, if they're comparing your product to a competitor's product, right, you become the no-brainer. Because if you make all these claims about how great your product is, but then you're like, just cover the shipping and handle and use it, people are happy because they're like, okay, I can get it. I can make sure it does all that. And then only after that, I can basically automatically commit to the product. By the time people come, by the time the money is charged from their account, they're like, take it. I've had such a great experience. So it removes that pain of like pain and hoping, right? So even if your competitors are running a discount and they're lower cost, your offer, your perceived benefits to the customer, the trust is far higher. So you are likely to get that sale. And because your product does exactly what it says on the tin, people aren't going to generally not pay. People aren't going to generally send it back. And ultimately, that means that you'll make more sales and make more money. So that's ultimately then leads to a better conversion rate, which means that you can spend more on advertising, which means that you can outpromote your competition, which means that ultimately you have a more successful business. And I think all those things are really, really positive. So have a think about all that. That's the way you can influence conversion rate. And your goal always should be get the highest conversion rate possible. That's it. Like, the highest conversion rate possible. That means you're getting, from every visitor that comes, you're getting something out of them. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but it's both ways. Like, they're opting in or buying whatever you have, but likewise, you're giving them whatever they want. So it's a win-win. So our goal should always be to get that higher and higher. Yeah, there's thoughts I'm having. But yeah, take it and do something bright that pops. Make a really good offer, and you'll have a good conversion rate.